Hey everybody, it's me! Haven't decided if I'm going to keep that channel name, so from now on I am me. You can call me Mikola, Mike the Waz. Okay, so I decided that here today with my little microphone, that I'm going to talk about my movie collection. On this channel, I've done a lot of scripted stuff or stupid, dumb meme stuff, but today you're gonna actually get a little window into my psyche. And one of my psyches is that I really like movies, and I really like owning them, not digitally. I like it when they're blue plastic that sits on a shelf and collects dust. Yeah. I actually got this idea from my buddy Luke. He also has a YouTube channel. He has a Letterboxd. He made a video going through his Criterion Collection, which is a fancy schmancy movie. Unlike us plebs that just kind of buy Megamind on Blu-ray for $27! Jesus Christ. But yeah, he made a video going through all of his Criterions, which he has a lot of, so you should definitely go check out that video. It made me really hyped to talk about movies, so that's why I'm here. So I got my two shelves here. They are divided by, these are like franchises in alphabetical order. These are all not cash grab money movies. These are the good ones, except for the ones that aren't. I also have another shelf down there that is also franchises. They're a little less well known of, so yeah. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. First on the list here, we got the Back to the Future trilogy, all directed by Robert Zemeckis. These are obviously classic movies. Everyone's probably seen at least one of them. This one comes with a bunch of special features. The reason I have this trilogy is because we used to watch all these movies on Halloween for some reason, and one year instead of renting them, we finally decided to just buy the trilogy. And yeah, we all chipped in, and I ended up keeping it. But yeah, I love all these movies. Third one's not so great, but the first two are classics, and I still find enjoyment in the third one. Next up here is Blade Runner, the original, the final cut version. I don't know if there's a difference. I actually haven't seen this movie. There are quite a few movies on this shelf that I have not seen, but I did buy this very recently, actually, because of another movie I was trying to get, and it just made sense to get this one at the time. But yeah, Harrison Ford, can't go wrong with that. I don't know who directed this, honestly. Ridley Scott, you dummy. Alright, next up we got Blade Runner 2049, another one that I have not seen, but I got those two back to back, so I'm planning on watching it eventually, although this is not the reason I bought Blade Runner the first, so we'll get to that. But yeah, Harrison Ford back for this one, Ryan Gosling, and then obviously Denis Villeneuve, he directed this, and Jared Leto's in this, so I don't know how great it can possibly be, but who knows, maybe it's an American Psycho situation. Next up, we got the original 4 Batman movies, directed by the Edward Scissorhand, Tim Burton, and Joel Schumacher. I think he did both of these. He definitely did Batman and Robin. If someone else did Batman Forever, sorry, it's a forgettable movie. But yeah, I rushed out and bought this after The Batman came out this year, 2022. And I was like, I'm going to do a big Batman rewatch marathon. And, well, it looks good on my shelf. So I've seen the original Batman, but Batman Returns I actually haven't seen. Batman Forever is a time. And Batman and Robin was actually my first Batman movie. And I know everyone hates it, but it is the reason I love Batman now, so could it have been that bad? Alright, next up here we got the Dark Knight Trilogy Special Edition. Obviously, Christopher Nolan directed this. Yeah, I actually did rewatch all of these for the Batman, and Batman Begins, I love. It's a great movie. Great origin story to Batman. Great, probably the best Gotham in all of these movies too. Dark Knight, classic Heath Ledger. You know the gist. Dark Knight Rises, I actually kind of did not like on rewatch. I love the ideas in the movie, but there's just a lot of silly stuff that goes on here. But yeah, you can't beat this trilogy. It's the Dark Knight trilogy. Except you can't beat it. You can in 2022. You actually can't beat it. That's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Alright, next up, Man of Steel. I actually finally bought this one recently. Got it at an FYE. And yeah, I like it. It's definitely my favorite of the Snyder DC movies. Henry Cavill, great casting. And yeah, I mean, you've heard everyone talk about this movie. I don't really have much to add to the conversation, except he's pretty hot. He's the only hot guy I've seen with chest hair, you know? Like, he's ripped, and he has, like, a big, like, burly chest, you know? Like, you know? Yeah. Like, you could sleep on that like a pillow. Alright, next up, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition. This is another victim of me watching The Batman and wanting to own all the DC things, so I finally went out and got this. The fight looks cool. The plot's kind of dumb. Yeah, it's Batman v Superman. I haven't seen the Ultimate Edition version, so maybe it's better. Maybe the Snyder fans know what they're talking about, and I'm just stupid. And maybe I will give it a shot one day, but yeah. For now, it's just Batman v Superman. The opening scene, that's great. Bruce Wayne in Gotham, I do love that. Next up, we got Wonder Woman, director Patty Jenkins. Yeah, I love this movie. It's definitely the best of the modern DC movies, at least at the time it came out. The sequence on the cover here, incredible. No Man's Land, I love that. I wrote a paper on it in college. That's how much I love it. I'm so sorry. That was disrespectful. I'm sorry, women. Yeah, this movie's great. Bar the CGI fest that is the final act. I think this could have had a great subtle ending to a superhero movie, but obviously can't have that. Warner Brothers. Shazam! Yep, this movie's also fun. I love Zachary Levi. He is one of my favorite actors. He's just like a goofball, and I like him a lot. Just look at that guy. You might be looking at Billy right now. I don't know, but well, they're both Billy. That's the plot of the movie. But yeah, this is a good one. Good fun time. Nothing too crazy happening here, as with most of the good modern DC movies, but yeah. I don't like it. This is better than Joss Whedon's Justice League for sure, but it also just kind of feels like the same movie but longer. I like what they did with Cyborg in this movie. Obviously, that's great. Did you know that the Flash entered the Speed Force in this movie? It was everyone's favorite moment of movies ever. Did you know that? I knew that. But yeah, I actually am really happy that I own this now because everything that's going on with HBO Max and the Warner Bros. Discovery merger, that sucks. It sucks to be a creative right now, so I don't know. If that's not one of the biggest validations for owning physical media, I don't know what it is, but yeah, don't like it, but I am happy to own this piece of movie history. For some reason, I have Joker after the Zack Snyder's Justice League. Maybe because the original came out before this. I'm not sure what my brain was thinking, but yeah. Joker next. I think is pretty good. I like it. I know it's a meme, and also that some people hate it because it's like overly serious about it's very trying to say something. What am I saying? It's definitely trying to pretend that it has something more to say than it actually does about like mental health and stuff. But like, I don't know, the scene with Robert De Niro and he's like, you get what. Yeah, I like it. It's good, and his performance is great. I'm honestly really excited to see what happens with the sequel to this movie. A musical? A a musical? But yeah, it even on the back. Look, it has the meme. What more could you want? All right, next up, we got the Suicide Squad, almost to the end of DC. But yeah, I really like this box art. It's an actual box. I believe it was the Target exclusive one. You can actually switch out these little. It's a big like bullet hole here. You can switch out what's actually displayed there, and it comes with a bunch of different, you know, uh, pieces of plastic that are really valuable. But yeah, I really like this movie. A lot of great performances, great jokes. If some right-wing troll had to cancel James Gunn so that we could get this movie and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, yeah, yeah. Uh, thank, thank you, cancel culture, for that one. You did a great job. This is the Batman! This is the Batman! This is the best movie. Look at this. It's red. I think this movie is incredible. It's been 6 months now, and I'm still not over the hype. Has it been 6 months? It feels like 2 minutes. Yeah, I love this movie. This is definitely the best Batman movie, like hands down. And I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, this is gonna be an incredible set of movies, as long as Warner Brothers doesn't screw that up. But yeah, funny story. This was actually gonna be my first Steelbook, and then Best Buy said, "Hey, what if we actually sent you one with the biggest dent in the world?" I tried to return it or exchange it for another one, and they said that they're actually not going to make any more ever. So I returned it and went to Target and bought this. So yeah, take that, Best Buy. Did I still pre-order my Steve and Alex amiibo from Minecraft from you? Yeah, but I'm not going to buy any more Steelbooks from you because you screwed me over, even though it was probably UPS. Yeah. It's the Batman, guys! Look! It's the Batman! Alright, Deadpool 1 and 2. I normally don't get collections like this, just because I don't think they look as good on the shelf. But, yeah. I like these. I actually like the second one more than the first, which is an unpopular opinion, but I do like how Deadpool became more of a character and not just a flat, non-evolving version of himself. So, I like Deadpool 2. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with Ryan Reynolds in the MCU. All right, next up, Evil Dead 1 and 2. I haven't seen these movies, but I did buy this in some Sam Raimi hype that I was feeling. I'm excited to watch these campy horror movies. Yeah, Bruce Campbell. It's got Bruce Campbell in them. Is this Bruce Campbell? I don't know. I know his name is Ash. He tweets about it. Family. It's all about family. Family. Yeah, 8 movie Fast and Furious collection. I got this while 9 was still in theaters. I haven't seen all these. I got these because my girlfriend was raised in a Fast and the Furious family. I've seen 1 and 2. Skip Tokyo Drift. I heard, Kim told me that it was not good, so I'm gonna watch it eventually, but yeah. And I've watched 4. The one where Vin Diesel comes back and they drive a car in a desert that looks like this. I haven't gotten to the crazy stuff yet. Will I watch it eventually? Yeah. But yeah, I bought this for some reason. All right, next up, all the Harry Potter movies, all 8 of them. This is well, stop sliding there. This collection is actually from the UK. I went to London over spring break one year, and my goal was to get a copy of the Philosopher's Stone because I wanted a movie that said the Philosopher's Stone instead of the Sorcerer's Stone because I'm insane. And then to prove that point, I ended up just buying a box set because I was missing one of the movies on Blu-ray. So yeah, it was cheaper there than it was here, so that's okay. And yeah, say what you will about Harry Potter now. Obviously, boo J.K. Rowling. She sucks and is an awful person. But I don't know. There's some good filmmaking here and some good story. Now this is a 3-movie collection. I love Indiana Jones. Those 3 movies are incredible. I love all of them. I actually haven't seen Temple of Doom in years, and that's when I'm really excited to rewatch. But yeah, Last Crusade, definitely my favorite. And I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. Come on, it's great. Great trilogy. I'm really excited to see what Disney does with the 4th installment. I don't know. Harrison Ford was pretty kick-ass in Force Awakens, so I think he's still got it. And, Blade Runner. I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things. He punched Ryan Gosling. But yeah, love Indiana Jones. Look at that guy. All right, next up, John Wick Collection. This is another one that I got on a whim. The reason I don't like getting box sets is because typically more movies come out. Like this one is getting a 4th next year, so now it's going to look funky on my shelf. But yeah, I haven't seen any of these. I'm sure they're great. I love Keanu Reeves. He's such a wholesome person. Not even just like from the meme standpoint. I got his skin in Fortnite. All right, another movie collection that I think looks really ugly. This is a really gross design for a 3-movie collection, but it's fine. The Lego Movie is incredible. It means everything to me. It is an animated movie that we don't deserve, especially since the Academy snubbed it. And all of these. But yeah, the Lego Movie means a lot to me. It's like, it pushes the bounds of animation, and I just love it. The Batman movie. This might actually be the best Batman movie. I don't know. Watch it without the lens of this is a animated movie for kids made to sell Lego Batman products, and you will find that it is the movie that takes Batman like the most serious of any movie he's been in besides maybe Mask of Phantasm. Phantasm? This movie sucks. Animation is great for the Lego Ninjago movie, although lazier than the other 2. There are a lot more non-Lego objects in this movie, which is disappointing. Also, like, I don't know, I just don't really like what they did with the lore in this movie. They could have done a lot with the actual Ninjago show, and they didn't. So I have a whole Letterboxd review about it if you want to check that out. What's going on? Ah!
You didn't hear me come in?
I heard something.
You're like, what's going on? It's me, here to make you lunch.
You scared me. Here we got the Lego Movie 2, the second part. It's the sequel to the first Lego Movie. I think I like it more than most people do. I might be a little biased, but it is better than the Ninjago movie, so that's good. I also haven't... She slurped. I haven't watched it since theater, so who knows? Maybe it's not as good as it used to be. The choice to make it a musical was pretty weird. Do you have homework to do or something?
You didn't call it the squeakquel.
It's not the squeakquel.
But I think all sequels should be called the squeakquel.
Lego Movie 2. Alright, next up, the Sonic movie collection. As soon as Kim saw Sonic, she ran for the hills because she hates Sonic. That was a Sonic reference. I've only seen the first Sonic. When I saw that they made a 2-pack for the Knuckles one, I was like, yeah, okay. I haven't seen it yet. So, hey! So I was like, yeah, this is probably the only way I'll want to buy these movies until the third one comes out. You know, what was the fan cast? Robert Pattinson as Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, please. Yeah, the first one is fine. I'm excited to see the second one, though. Just because, Knuckles, Idris Elba. Alright, next up, we got the Raimi trilogy here. This is a box set that I actually do kind of like. It is kind of like a Criterion for the Spider-Man movies. So it comes with all three. But then it also comes with, like, a little, like, where is it? At the, at the back of it, no, somewhere in here. Yeah, okay, so at the beginning, there's, like, a whole, like, book, like, about how they made each of the movies and, like, behind-the-scenes stuff. It's very, like, much like a Criterion release. It has, like, some really great, like, shots from the movies in here. And then it also has a special bonus features disc. So, I don't know. I really like this one. It is really interesting. I love these movies. All three of them. Maybe equally. I really like Spider-Man 3. But yeah, Spider-Man 2 is amazing. And all the... I don't know. Come on. Everyone likes these. And if you don't, you're boring. Sorry. Alright, The Amazing Spider-Man. I actually just recently got this Blu-ray, and I completely forgot how thick these Blu-rays used to be back in, like, when this came out. Yeah. This is probably my least favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. It's fine. I really loved it, actually, when I saw it, like, as a kid. It was, like, the first movie I saw 3 times in theaters. But yeah. Suits, not my favorite. I love Andrew Garfield and I love Emma Stone, but yeah, it just felt a little bit too much like a retread of the original Raimi movies, and all the new stuff that they did bring in didn't really go anywhere. So I don't know. It's fine. I still like it, but it's not my favorite. It's definitely my least favorite live-action Spider-Man. You probably hear that and are like, "Wait a minute. What about The Amazing Spider-Man 2?" This this movie is way lesser quality than the original Amazing Spider-Man, but I love it. I love it to pieces. I did a letterbox review of this movie of just little thoughts that I had while watching it, and it is my longest review. I entirely love this movie. Their chemistry really shines. Little quotes from Jamie Foxx throughout the movie.
It's my birthday. Now it's time for me to light my candles.
Other bit, like there's a minute, he has like that little like freak out at his boss, played by the Office guy, which I never noticed until recently. He's like, "You're a Sagittarius, Spider-Man's a Capricorn. What is going on?" This movie's incredible. You should really watch it with the same lens that you should watch Batman and Robin, and just really enjoy it for what it is. I have a new tradition, which is to make this the last movie that I watch every year, and also the first movie that I watch every year. So, wish me luck next year. This is Venom. I own it. Not that good. I like them. I think the Eddie and Venom relationship is really funny for the most part, but the movie that they're in is really bland and boring and Sony, and He's not on here, but yeah. Riz Ahmed's character, yeah. I haven't seen this one since theaters. Would I watch it again? Yeah. But really just for these two. I think they're funny. Woo! This is the pinnacle of Spider-Man movies, baby. Into the Spider-Verse. Obviously, it's not a hot take, but, like, this is it. This is it. This is the movie. This is so good. This is incredible. This is my favorite Spider-Man movie. This is the best Peter Parker. I didn't mean to flick you off. This is the best Peter Parker. Miles, incredible character that deserves more love. I can't wait to see him in live action someday. Kingpin memes.
I'm not a Redditor. It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets.
Come on. You should look at this. They take off their masks. Come on, it's incredible. All right, here I got this Stanley Kubrick collection. I actually got it because in my first film class ever, it was a project that we had to mimic the style of a director. And I hadn't really seen any of Stanley Kubrick's stuff, but we had picked Stanley Kubrick to mimic in a short film. That was really bad. We did awful. The screenplay that we were given to adapt was awful, and what we did with it was even worse. So, yeah. But we tried to do Stanley Kubrick style. And I bought this. I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey because, that's like maybe his most famous. I've also seen The Shining. So those are the two that I've seen off of this collection. It also has Lolita, Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, Full Metal Jacket, and Eyes Wide Shut. All of these movies I've heard are incredible. So I do want to watch them all at some point. I think Clockwork Orange is probably the one I want to watch next. But pretty good collection, and also like the thickest case I've ever seen. Look at that. All right, next up, got the original Toy Story. Great movie. Kickstarted Pixar, basically. There's not really too much to say about it. It's just a great movie. I think we all know that. Next up, Toy Story 2, same story. We all know it and love it. This is probably my favorite of the Toy Story movies. Animation's way better. I really like the story now that Buzz and Woody are more friends, so more dynamics to play off of there. Stinky Pete, pretty hilarious. The chicken guy. Come on, the chicken guy.
I can't believe I have to drive all the way to work on a Saturday. All the way to work!
And finally, Toy Story 3. Also great. The ending is probably the best moment in all of the Toy Story trilogy. Overall I do like 2 more. But yeah, this movie's great. I kind of got all these movies on a whim one day a few years ago, just because I was feeling it was right before Toy Story 4 came out. I do not like that movie. I don't agree with that movie existing. I do not own that movie. I saw it on clearance at my Target for 80% off, and I still did not buy it. So, yeah. I'm a Toy Story trilogy truther. 4 does not exist. All right, I think this is my last multi-pack of movies, but we got the Coronado trilogy from Edgar Wright. I love all these movies. I don't agree with the way that they put them here. From maybe it's a British thing, but yeah, I watched them in the order that they came out, so bottom to top. I think Shaun of the Dead's my favorite. I love Shaun of the Dead. Obviously, a few outdated jokes, but they address that in their COVID retelling. Hot Fuzz, I love Hot Fuzz. Hilarious, probably funnier than Shaun of the Dead. I just do think the ending is a little drawn out. And World's End is insane. I did not expect what happened. If you've never seen World's End and you somehow have escaped the twist that is revealed somewhere about halfway through the movie, I don't think you're ready for it. World's End I actually wrote a paper on Edgar Wright in general, but World's End I spent a good chunk on because I liked how Nick Frost and Simon Pegg kind of switched character roles in that movie, as opposed to Nick Frost being like the dumb one and Simon Pegg being like the average one. They kind of switch roles in this movie, which I really appreciate. But yeah, Edgar Wright. Watch all these movies. They're all great. All right, taking a little detour here. I do have a few TV shows that I own on Blu-ray and also DVD. I'm so sorry. But yeah, this is Avatar: The Last Airbender, the complete series. I mean, come on. Look at them. Oh, there they are. I mean, this show's incredible. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It's on Netflix. Yeah, I love everything about this show. Probably one of the best animated shows of all time, except maybe compared to this show right here, Gravity Falls, another great animated show. This one is on DVD, which is very unfortunate, but it was only $20 at Walmart when I got it, so that was pretty fortunate. But yeah, I love this show. It's great, and it's also not the censored version that Disney tampered with on Disney Plus, so that's pretty great if you can find one of these. Grunkle Stan has his little hat symbol, which is the Illuminati. So if you want to indoctrinate your kids into the Illuminati Pac-Man fish thing, you should watch this version. And final thing on this shelf is my Stranger Things Season 1. I love it when streaming services release physical media for their streaming exclusive shows. So I finally got this very recently after Season 4 came out, so it's kind of on a Stranger Things kick, and I just think this packaging is incredible. Obviously, it's a very nostalgic grab for people who like VHS tapes, but I think it's great, and Season 1, probably where the show peaked. I like the rest of Stranger Things, but this is probably the most consistent storytelling in the whole show, so yeah. I mean, you've all seen Stranger Things probably, but yeah. Check this out if you can find it. I got it at an FYE. It used to be Target exclusive, but, resale stores. All right, moving on to Shelf 2. We're moving away from franchises now. Well, at least for now. Apparently there is a second one of these coming out. But yeah, Baby Driver. It was one of my favorite movies. I still really love the movie itself, but it is obviously really hard to watch now. A lot of this cast is really problematic, and it is really hard to watch because of that, and there are some lines in here that did not age. They aged like fine cheese. I love the aesthetic of this movie. The soundtrack is killer. Edgar Wright really proves himself as a great director here. This was actually the first Edgar Wright movie I saw, and yeah, I really love it, besides the that. Next up is Booksmart. This is a movie that my friend Udi showed me. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious movie. Yeah, definitely check it out if you're just in the mood for a good laugh. Her character, she was in the TV show Last Man Standing from Tim Allen's show. Very right-leaning show, so it is very funny to see her in this role here.
What do we call people that go willy-nilly through life just doing things because it feels good?
Democrats.
Tim Allen's probably rolling in his metaphorical grave right now, thinking about her performance in this. So, yeah, great movie. Check it out. Great comedy. Jason Sudeikis is in this. I forgot about that. Come on. Detective Pikachu. This movie really came and went, didn't it? It was a pretty good live-action Pokemon movie. Of course, it was on the most obscure subject ever, but pretty good. All the Pokemon look pretty good. Ryan Reynolds is doing his thing. There was a mystery. It was pretty obvious, but yeah, fun movie. Great to see Pokemon in live action. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This is one of those movies that I actually still own from my childhood. So this is a really, really old Blu-ray. I recently watched the Nostalgia Critic video on this. Don't judge me. He didn't like it because of how mean-spirited it is, and I think he didn't understand. None of us like him. No one likes Greg. Everyone hates Greg. We all love Rowley. We all love Roderick. the coolest dude in the world. Come on. This movie I really enjoy still. I have not watched it in full in a while, but I love this movie. And yeah, maybe Greg could have got a little more comeuppance, but this stuff happens in the later movies. Also, Roderick Rules is the best Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. Don't at me. Yeah, we love Roderick here. Next up is 8th Grade, directed by Bo Burnham. That's the reason I bought this movie. I still haven't seen the movie. I am a fool. I actually had the opportunity to write a extra credit paper about this movie, and I still didn't go see it, even though I really wanted to at the time. It was free on Amazon Prime. Anyway, I am really excited to see this. I love Bo Burnham, and I've heard this movie's great.
You should kill your boomer. Here's why Obama never fuck you. Here's how you can build a Power Ranger. Boomer, Obama, mom.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of my new favorite movies of all time. This also marked the start of me really becoming a collector, because even though I don't have the ability to play 4K Ultra HD, I still bought this one because I thought the art was cooler on this one than on the regular Blu-ray release. So, yeah, that's where we're at now. This is the Walmart exclusive one. But yeah, I love this movie to death. So many cool concepts. It's the first movie that made me cry that didn't have 10 years of emotional buildup. So it takes a lot to get me to cry at a movie. So just seeing this on the first time and finding myself bawling by the end of it was really cool. But yeah, I really love this movie. I don't want to say too much about it, but go see it. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite movies. All right, next up, Ex Machina. This is a movie that I also have not seen, but it was given to me by, it's either Luke or Udi, I'm sorry. They both gave me birthday presents on the same day, and they were both a lot of movies, so I don't remember who exactly gave me what except for a couple of them. But yeah, I do really want to see this. I love Oscar Isaac, Donald, how do you say his name? Dominal, Hux, the guy from Star Wars. Who directed this? Ooh, who directed this? Is that? Yeah, okay. Who directed this? Come on. Alex Garland. I don't really know much about his filmography, but I heard this is great, so I do really want to watch it. So, since Best Buy screwed me over, Good Burger ended up being my first steelbook ever. I was at Target, and they just had this. And I was, okay. I loved Good Burger in middle school, so I'm sure it still holds up. Yeah, this is my first steelbook. You know, it's a 90s classic. Yeah. Welcome to Good Burger. Home with the Good Burger. Can I take your order? This is the only movie on my shelf that is still in the plastic. We have a tradition in our friend group of if any time you buy someone a movie, you also buy them a funny movie, a joke movie, if you will. And for my 19th birthday, that ended up being The Good Catholic. Thank you, Cody. The guy from Scrubs is in here. And Danny Glover. This movie might actually be good. Who knows? I'm never gonna find out. This movie is staying in the saran wrap packaging. Greatest Showman. I think this movie's kind of cringe now. I still like it. I think Hugh Jackman has a great vocal performance in this movie, but I don't know. All the songs they don't move the story along like a musical should. All the songs are very much the Believe in Yourself song, which should only be one of the first two songs, not all the songs, you know? But yeah, I still like this movie. Zac Efron is in it, and he sings, and that's pretty good. Yeah, there's some really good choreography in here. But yeah, on the whole, I liked it more when it came out. Next up is Her. I really did not expect to like this movie. I've heard about it for years. I just thought the premise was so goofy. Joaquin Phoenix with his little mustache falls in love with Scarlett Johansson phone. Well, it's actually really good. I didn't expect to buy into the actual romance, but sure, why not? The movie really immerses you in its world of a not too distant future, and I really liked it. Also, the color palette and the outfits in this movie are incredible. Like, I want to fast forward to the time where all of this is how our world looks, because I think I'd look pretty snazzy. Alright, next up we got In the Heights. This was one of my favorite movies of last year. I've definitely grown away from my Lin-Manuel Miranda phase, but I still think this movie is spectacular. In the Heights is probably my favorite musical that he's written. And like music in general that he's done. Anthony Ramos, great in here. All the cast is great. Leslie Grace is in this movie, so after seeing it, I was really excited to see what she was going to do as Batgirl until that got canceled and canned and thrown out during the director's wedding. Jimmy Smits is also in this, and you can't not like Jimmy Smits, so I don't know. If you like musicals, yeah, check this one out. It's probably my favorite musical, so definitely check it out. Inglourious Basterds. This is a Quentin Tarantino movie. I haven't really seen too much Quentin Tarantino, including this movie, but I am excited to see it. This was another part of my little birthday haul, so Brad Pitt with a mustache. It's probably good. Probably punches some Nazis. Next up, Jojo Rabbit. Definitely my favorite Taika movie that I've seen so far. I really like this movie. I know some people are trying to come at it saying it's anti-Semitic, but I don't know. I don't really buy into that. It's about how people can be redeemed, which I think is something that we should all try to do a little more. Like, I don't know. Something feels wrong about saying that a 10-year-old can be redeemed from being brainwashed. Something about saying that he can't be redeemed feels a little icky to me. And especially nowadays that we're seeing on social media, kids fell into the Ben Shapiro pipeline or now the Andrew Tate pipeline. So I think kids like that deserve redemption. And this movie does make a good case for it. Yeah, and there's no respect given to the Nazis here. Taika plays Hitler like he's an idiot, which obviously he was. Who else? Sam Rockwell. Put him in more movies. I love him here. Yeah, he's an asshole in the movie, but like, I just love Sam Rockwell. It's a great movie. Check it out. Knives Out. Yeah, Rian Johnson really knew what he was doing here. I am a Last Jedi defender till the day I die, so I was really excited for this movie, and I really hope that people who see this movie respect Rian Johnson more, even if they don't like The Last Jedi. He is a good filmmaker. He knows what he's doing. There's another one of these coming out this year that I'm really excited for. It just got a release date as the time of recording this, so I think December 23rd. So that's kind of crazy. Another crazy cast, but yeah. This movie's great. Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Bond, Daniel Craig. That's his name. Yeah. This cast is stunning, honestly. And so for the next one, too. So if you want a really fun murder mystery, Knives Out. La La Land, the almost Best Picture winner. This is a great movie. I just rewatched it recently with Kim. It's great. My only real critique is that this scene on the cover is the best in the movie. Like, all the choreography kind of peaks with that scene, which is a little unfortunate to me, but yeah, great songs, great performances. I love, like, we get some Ryan Gosling little stuff in here, just like little hints of how funny of a guy he is. So yeah, really love Ryan Johnson in this. Also Emma Stone. Yeah, great movie. Last Night in Soho, Edgar Wright's most recent movie. A lot of mixed reception of this one. I personally think it's okay. I think it's pretty good. It's definitely my least favorite Edgar Wright movie, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I do wish he had done a little bit more with the whole horror genre here, but I like it. The scene that everyone talks about with Anya Taylor-Joy's character and her, I'm not going to say her name. I'm not Irish, so don't want to disrespect the Irish. But yeah, when they're dancing with Matt Smith and they're doing all the Texas switches, incredible. That's one of my favorite scenes ever. So, yeah, pretty good movie. Little Italy. This is God born again. This is my Bible as an Italian. This is everything to me. This is my favorite movie. Not really. There's a lot going on in this movie, and I think it's incredible. Hayden Christensen playing a Canadian Italian. Great. Emma Roberts, also very strange to see in this movie. This was made in 2018. If you watch it, you think it's like 2007 tops. 2018, the modern movie. We don't get gems like this anymore. There's a scene where you think you're seeing Hayden Christensen's ass. And when Kim and I watched it, our jaws dropped. When we watched it again with friends, all of our jaws dropped. But then it wasn't Hayden Christensen's ass, so it was okay. Spoiler alert. Sorry. But yeah. I love this movie. As an Italian, as a person, as a fan of Hayden Christensen, as someone who wants Hayden Christensen to succeed in everything he does, I want to buy 10 more copies of this. Little Women. This is another one that I watched recently. I got this for Kim on a whim, I think. Because, yeah, we both really like Florence Pugh. And she's hilarious in this movie. But yeah, it's really good. With it's kind of a trend with Greta Gerwig movies that I really don't have many thoughts head empty when I watch her movies, but I just really like them. They just give good vibes. So, yeah, it's a good vibe. All right, Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, whatever you want to call this movie. I haven't seen it. Heard it's really good. I was recently bitten by the Tom Cruise bug after seeing Top Gun Maverick 3 times in theaters. So yeah, I do really want to watch this. It was part of my little birthday bundle, so I'm excited to check this one out. Logan. This was the first Blu-ray that I bought with my own money, I believe. I bought it at a Barnes & Noble for way too much money because it was like $30. But yeah, I love this movie. It's top tier superhero movie. Yeah, great send-off to Hugh Jackman's character here. This is the only Fox X-Men movie that I own, and probably gonna stay that way. I might get Days of Future Past if I ever come across it, but this is the only one that really matters to me. Next up, we got Love, Simon. This is a movie that I don't like anymore. It was really cool when it came out. First movie, like big like movie rom-com to really like admit that gay people exist. So that was really cool to see, and it's still really cool. I wish we got 100 movies like this by now, but you know how the world works. I just don't really like how all his friends turned on him for not telling them that he was gay, and how his gayness was used as blackmail against him. Like, it just feels very icky looking back on it. Talking to some LGBT friends, they all kind of agree that like this movie was very made for straight people. So take that as you will. Martian. I love The Martian. Matt Damon. His face. He makes potato with poop. This is another one of those movies with just an incredible cast. Like, every other scene, a new cast member comes on and you're like, he's in this? Yeah, I love this movie. It was one of my favorites for a long time. Recently kicked out by Everything Everywhere All at Once. It just feels good. It's like very unrealistic in that the world would come together to help one guy trapped in space. But I love it. It gives you hope, you know? Next up is Megamind, another one of those really old Blu-rays that I still have. This is a great movie. It's Megamind. Really, I still feel like it's very underrated. Probably because it came out the same year as Despicable Me, which obviously blew this out of the water from a box office standpoint. I think this is the better movie. But to have 2 movies come out at the same time about the bad guy being the hero, probably didn't tread well for this movie's success. Also coming from that new up-and-coming studio, and also having not 1 minion, but 1,000,000 minions. But yeah, this will always be the superior film to me, and I love it dearly. It's a great It's a great DreamWorks movie. This is another one I got for Kim. This is her comfort movie. I don't get it. I still don't know how to pronounce the title without screwing it up, so I'm gonna say it 3 ways and overlay them at the same time. Midsummer. Yeah, this film gives me the ickies. I do love the good for her aspect of it, but I don't know. It's very visceral, and like I watch The Boys. I can handle gore, but there's something about this that's just so, like, I don't know. It feels like you see it, and then Ari Aster like looks at you and is like, "Do you want to see more?" And you're like, "Well, I don't know." And he's like, "Watch this," and then an old man gets his head hit with a hammer. Mitchells versus the Machines. I love this. This is a great original animated movie, very similar humor to Gravity Falls, which makes sense because Alex Hirsch did have a part in this movie's production. To me, if for some reason it felt very similar to The Incredibles upon first viewing. They like the kids version of The Incredibles. Yes, I know what I said. But yeah, definitely check this out. It's on Netflix. I still felt the need to buy this on physical, though. It's the Muppets. I love the Muppets. This movie killed me. Like, I saw it once in theaters, and it was around the time where I was like, am I too old for this kind of stuff? I recently watched it right before I graduated college, and I realized that I'll never be too old for this kind of stuff. This is incredible. Every joke lands. Every song is great. By the end of the movie, you just feel good. I love Jason Segel in this, and then I found out that he co-wrote this movie, and that's just spectacular. You can tell that he has a passion for the Muppets, and I'm really glad that he got to be a part of it. But yeah, like, there's so many great shots, like Kermit being walking into frame with the angelic choir behind him. Everything with Jack Black in this movie. There's just so much to love. If you've never really thought that you would like the Muppets, I would definitely give this a watch, and maybe you will like the Muppets. Next up is My Neighbor Totoro. This is my first Studio Ghibli movie. Kim took me to see it when we first started dating, and I loved it. I mean, it's just kind of like one of those movies, like, yeah, there's no plot, really, but who cares? Totoro's just a big dude that you can hang out with. I think the world needs to appreciate big dudes more. This feels like a nice rainy day Sunday movie. Make a lot of really nice food, pop this in, yeah, or watch it under the stars. I feel like this would be a great drive-in movie too. Next up, we got The Nice Guys. This was definitely given to me by Udi on my birthday, and Jesus Christ, I've seen this movie like 2 times since I bought it. I love this so much. I've seen it probably like 5 times now, but yeah, I love it. This movie's great. It's hilarious. It kills me that we don't have a sequel to this movie yet. Like, there should be 8 of these by now. I don't get why we don't have more Nice Guys movies. Like, come on, Private Dicks.
Hashtag perfect dicks.
You'll be out soon. Until then, if I were you, I'd keep my mouth
I'm going to just keep leaning on that one until we get a shirt out of it.
I know everything Ryan Gosling does in this movie is incredible. I will just walk around and say, Jesus! Because that's what he told me to do. Ryan Gosling personally told me to quote him all the time. Just by his performance. I could see it in his eyes. This movie's great. Hilarious. Wonderful time. Shane Black, thank you so much. I haven't seen too many Shane Black movies, but of the ones I have seen, I love to death. Alright, next up here we got Parasite. This is the first movie that I ever bought without watching beforehand, and that turned out really good. This movie's great. Just really great visual storytelling as well as, normal storytelling. But yeah, there are just shots in this movie that tell a story. And the way the tone shifts in the middle of this movie, I don't know. This has one of the scariest shots that I've ever seen. And if you have seen the movie, you know exactly what shot I'm talking about. Sing Street. This movie's great. It's got really good music in it, as you would hope. But it's not like a musical. They're like actual songs inspired by the songs of the era that this is set in. And I still listen to those songs. I put them in my playlist, and they're great. It's just a little love story, and it's a story about a kid trying to find himself in this crazy world. The brother in this movie is hilarious. I love him. And yeah, if you just want some good songs, good vibes, and a good story, I highly recommend Sing Street. Next up here, we got Spencer. This is a movie that I got for Kim. I haven't seen it personally, but she told me that it was really good. Kristen Stewart's great, so I do really want to see this movie. But yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. Spirited Away. This is my second Studio Ghibli movie, and it was aight. That's going to get me a lot of hate. I did really enjoy this movie. I think the world was really interesting. I did personally feel like it would work better as like kind of an anthology series. I just feel like the movie had like very distinct segments to it. And yeah, you have like the intro bit of her entering the spirit realm. And then after that, you could have like 8 episodes of different little stories, like her fighting giving a bath to like the river spirit, or hanging out with No Face and all that kind of stuff. I feel like there are very distinct moments in this movie. And it does come together to make a really beautiful package with great music, great visuals. I don't know, just sometimes it felt a little lacking as like an overall story. But yeah, I love it. Just maybe not my favorite movie of all time, like most people say it is. All right, Studio 666. This is from the mind of Dave Grohl and the rest of the Foo Fighters. I just really like the Foo Fighters. I haven't seen this movie yet, but I am really excited to see it. But yeah, also Rip Taylor Hawkins. I'm really sad to see him go, so I am excited that this movie did get put out before he passed. And I'm also really glad I got to see them in concert before he passed. But yeah. Haven't seen this yet, but I am really excited to. Swiss Army Man, another one I haven't seen yet, but you know, Paul Dano, Daniel Radcliffe, the Daniels. Great. I bought this after seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I'm excited to see it. Whiplash by Damien Chazelle. I'm really excited to watch this one because I haven't seen it either. But yeah, J.K. Simmons, can't go wrong with him. And Miles Teller. I mean, I never really was a big fan of Miles Teller. I saw a tweet that said that he looks like the kind of guy that would show you a booger, and I agree with that. But Top Gun Maverick did give me better feelings for Miles Teller, so yeah, I do want to see this. All right, The Wizard of Oz, a classic, of course. This is another one of those really thick Blu-rays, and it's also another one of those European British Blu-rays, so that's kind of cool. I bought this because I wanted to write a paper about how it was anti-FDR. I don't remember the points that I made in the paper, but I don't know, maybe I'll flash a few of those up on screen now. Who knows? But yeah, it's a classic. I needed to own it anyway, so I do. I own the British version, apparently. Alright, the final movies on this shelf are all Criterions, and I have about 5 of those. Not a huge collection, but I am becoming a film connoisseur, as it were. This is The Seventh Seal, directed by, I know his name. I don't want to read it. Ingmar Bergman. Yeah. Like, he's just like, what is he?
Do you give up?
Where does it say? Swedish. He's Swedish, guys. Yeah, apparently this movie is the most parodied of all time. We talked about it a lot in my international film class, but I haven't seen this one. So all you film guys can come at me and attack me. I'm going to watch it, I promise. But yeah, thank you to Luke for this one. Akira Kurosawa's High and Low. I think this movie's incredible. I got this after seeing it in my international film class. It's great. Who's the main guy in it? What's his name? Toshiro Mifune. Incredible in all of Kurosawa's films, but this one probably takes the cake for me as Kingo Gondo. Yeah, This movie's great. I actually haven't finished it though. I fell asleep because I had worked like an 8-hour shift before I was supposed to watch this for class. I watched the first, 120 minutes of it, and those were all great. I'm sure the last 20 minutes are too. But yeah, great movie about the kidnapping of a young boy and the moral obligations that come with that. In the Mood for Love, this is a Criterion that I own. Luca got this for me for my birthday. It was also as a moving in gift, which maybe that's appropriate to the plot of this movie. Maybe not. Who knows? But I'm sure it's good. Kim and I will watch it. Yeah. 12 Angry Men. I have not. This is another one that I have not seen all the way through, but I have watched a good majority of it, and I really loved it. I watched it in high school because we were showing it in class, but the last day of class I had a dentist appointment, so I did miss the last day of watching this. But it is one that I want to watch again because I remember finding it really intriguing. Yeah. Another one. Francis Ha. A Noah Baumbach movie. I love this one. It's just a really fun time. A little vibe, if you will. Only 86 minutes. See, that's how I know that Luke loves this movie. He loves short movies. Anything under 90 minutes is his jam. And this one's 86, and it's his comfort movie. So, yeah, I love this movie. Anything with Greta Gerwig acting in it, too. She's great. She's just a great creative in general. Yeah. If you just want a little time, a little fun time, I recommend this one. And the final Criterion that I own is Marriage Story, another Netflix movie that got a physical release, which I love, even though it is Criterion, which is a little less accessible to some people. But yeah, I love this movie. It's heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver are both really good in it, despite the meme. The little meme of him punching the wall. It was not a little meme, okay? It was not a little meme when I saw it.
Every day I wake up in fucking Ohio!
The only thing I don't really like about this movie too much is the score. When I was watching it the first time, I was like, this score just feels a little out of place. It feels like it belongs like in a Toy Story movie.
Randy Newman was the composer for this movie.
But yeah, those are all the movies on my main shelf. And now we got all of these. Iron Man 1, really good. Kickstarted everything. I hate what they did with this new art. I hate how synergized it all is. It's disgusting. You're going to see it for all of my Phase 1 movies, unfortunately. Because I got them all after Endgame came out. The Incredible Hulk, I've seen it once. Iron Man 2, I love this movie a lot more than a lot of other people. Probably because Sam Rockwell's in it. Also, the best suit-up scene in the MCU, probably. Thor, it's okay. This is probably on like the very lower half of my MCU ranking. I'm gonna save that for later, but yeah, casting is on point. That's about all I got. Captain America: The First Avenger. I love this movie. This is still one of my favorite MCU movies. I think it's perfection. It's also the first one that I saw, so that probably has something to do with that. I also think it's really funny. This promo art has always been hilarious to me because it looks like, I don't know, he looks skinnier than he does in the rest of the movie. Like, not Skinny Steve levels of Skinny Steve, but like, hi. Sorry if there's a weird cut there. I was talking about this, but my memory card was full, so I really like this one. The Avengers, obviously, it's a classic at this point. Never really thought that we'd see all these characters together. Great villain. Yeah. For better or for worse, it really cemented the idea of a cinematic universe. So take that as you will. Iron Man 3. I love this movie. It's my favorite Iron Man movie. Don't at me, but please at me. I mean, if you really can't get over the Mandarin twist, I need you to get over yourself and learn to have fun, because this movie is great. It's also the first movie to like really treat Tony as a character, like a real human character, not just a caricature of a character, I guess. Shane Black, I love him. He needs to make more things. I love his sense of humor in filmmaking. Thor: The Dark World. I like this one better than Thor 1. Yeah, I know that's a really hot take, but I don't care. I think it's honestly just because of Loki. I think both of these movies are of similar quality, but I just think Loki shines more in this one. This is the first one where he really gets to be mischievous, live up to the God of Mischief title. And Avengers and in Thor 1, he's evil, or he's like angry, or conniving even, but this is the first one where he really feels mischievous. Also, I think the final battle is really fun. There are some really good moments in there. Captain America 2. Yeah, it's great. Great action in here. Bucky reveal is good, even though, I don't know, I guess I called it because it was obvious. I think everyone knew Bucky was going to be in this movie. So, yeah. But yeah, great action, great intro to the Russo bros, and great intro to Shaky Cam. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Love this movie. Introduced me to James Gunn, and I don't know, I just think this movie's hilarious. A very different taste of movie than the rest of the MCU leading up to this point. Avengers, Age of Ultron. I really don't care that much for this movie anymore. I think James Spader as Ultron's good, kind of funny. I like that this is the only time we really see the main 6 Avengers all working together. Yeah. I do kind of wish we got more movies like this, just maybe better made, and better written for sure. But not like events that aren't going to be the end of the world. Kind of I just like seeing the characters in their downtime, like the party scene, Ant-Man. I know you know that. It's Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man. Do you like Ant-Man? You should like Ant-Man. It's Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. The movie's not great, but Ant-Man's in it. That's Paul Rudd. Ant-Man as Paul Rudd is in it. Ant-Man! Ants! Civil War. This is another one of my favorite MCU movies. I think everyone has an understandable view in this movie, maybe except for Ant-Man. But, yeah. I think it's a great introduction to Black Panther, and I think it's a great introduction to Spider-Man as well. And the final fight in this movie between Tony and Captain America, great stuff. Top 5 MCU for sure. Doctor Strange. This one feels fairly mid-tier to me. Probably some of the best visual effects in a Marvel movie, and I think the casting is spot on. I do like Stephen Strange as a character, but overall the movie itself it's fine. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I enjoy this one more than Volume 1. Hot take again. I don't know. I just feel like every character in this movie gets a really well thought out emotional moment. I love the color palette of this movie. And I feel like the Awesome Mix song choices were used a lot better in this movie. They felt like they fit more into the narrative than in Volume 1. Spider-Man Homecoming. This is where really bad Sony marketing started happening. This used to be my favorite Spider-Man movie when it first came out. I feel like I just have that bias with every Spider-Man movie that comes out. I just love it to death. But now I do prefer the Raimi movies. But yeah, there is some really good stuff in here. Michael Keaton as Vulture is incredible. I really love the message that this film had of Peter not needing the suit to be Spider-Man. It does a good job of being a younger Spider-Man who hasn't really grappled with the responsibilities of being Spider-Man yet. I just feel like it's missing something that both the Raimi movies and the Webb movies had, that I just feel like Watts never really captured in his time as a Spider-Man director. Thor Ragnarok. This was my introduction to Taika Waititi, and incredible. I actually didn't really like this movie at first because I didn't accept what was happening at the time. I, for one, really liked the plot twist at the end of Thor: The Dark World, so I was excited to see where that was going to lead to. And to see it just kind of get thrown out at the beginning was eh. But Over time, I've really come to love this movie. It's hilarious, great visual style, and I don't know, just great performances and a wonderful new direction to take Thor. Black Panther, this definitely has the best world building in the MCU, maybe even in like some of the best world building in movies in general, to the point where Wakanda itself feels like the main character of the film. This does kind of go with the fact that Black Panther does kind of feel like a side character in this movie to me personally. I feel like his arc was better in Civil War, and they kind of left him with not as much to do here. But that's not anything against Chadwick Boseman. He's incredible in this role, and I love the character and his performance. God bless his soul. Every character in this movie, honestly, is super interesting. Killmonger, Okoye, Shuri, I love all of them, and I could watch a show about any one of them. The only thing I really don't like about this movie is the CGI catfight at the end. That was kind of rushed and sloppy and stupid. But the rest of this film, incredible. Avengers Infinity War. This is not only the best Avengers movie, it is also the best MCU movie in my opinion. Everything about it, everything that led up to this movie, like this is the culmination of it all in my opinion. It's just super well made. The action, great. Every moment from the beginning feels like the heroes are in danger. It feels like the only MCU movie to like really take itself seriously. Also, Thanos is incredible. Like, nothing can top him. He's the best villain. Obviously, there's no better film to follow up Avengers Infinity War than with Ant-Man and the Wasp. This film is very perplexing to me. I like it as a comedy. I think it's pretty funny. But it's also like the only MCU movie that I didn't see opening night since they all, like, basically since I started watching them in theaters. I like Ant-Man, and I like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, and I like Walter Goggins in this stupid little role that he plays.
The undercarriage wash. That's for cleaning off road salt laid down in our more snow-laden sister states.
I don't know, it's a fine movie. And it's probably my guilty pleasure of the MCU, if I'm being honest. Captain Marvel, it's fine. Not for sexist reasons. I love Captain Marvel. I love Brie Larson as an actress. I just wish she was given more to do in this movie. Just the movie overall feels very bland, very derivative of other MCU stories. The fact that they brought back the Tesseract again, yeah, you know. I'm excited to see the Marvels, though. I really do like Brie Larson's casting. And I think that she could do great. Just need to see more from her, that's all. Avengers Endgame, for a brief moment, my favorite MCU movie, but, you know, times change. I don't think this movie holds up as well as Infinity War does. There are some obvious issues with it, but the last hour is incredible. Spider-Man Far From Home, this is the ugliest Blu-ray that I own. Not only does it have, like, one of the most horrendous posters in the world, but also that ugly Target exclusivity branded all over it. Like, that couldn't have been a sticker? Jesus Christ. I really like this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal, incredible. I think he's one of the best MCU villains, just because of how campy he is. It does harken back to a Raimi-style villain, in my opinion. The rest of it, I think this is really good. Like, there are moments that I definitely disagree with. Like, Peter took off his pants in front of a woman, and that means he had sex with her. Like, that's stupid. The whole drone stuff, that little, 30 minutes with the drone and the woman, stupid. Doesn't belong in a Spider-Man movie. But I like the rest of it. Like, I don't know. I feel like y'all are just haters sometimes. Black Widow hosting the very pretty red Blu-ray, plastic. Fan of that. This movie's fine. Florence Pugh, really like her in it. David Harbour, I didn't really think he was all that funny in this movie, honestly. And Black Widow, herself, Scarlett Johansson, it just sucks that this is the movie that she got. Like, she deserved something better, and she also deserved it 6 years before this came out. So, yeah. Shang-Chi, a breath of fresh air in the MCU, in my opinion. I really love Simu Liu's performance here. He's very charismatic, and also it's very serious. He really knows how to play the scene. Also, incredible action in this movie. When they're in her sister's little fight club and he's fighting the Death Dealer, that's one of my favorite fights in the MCU. Just so quick and energetic, and it's something that you really don't see in the rest of the MCU. So, great fights in this movie. Michelle Yeoh's in this. She's great, obviously. And Tony Leung, like, incredible. I never really understood the rolled up sleeves look until watching this. And yeah, Tony Leung, guys. Eternals. It's fine. A lot of MCU movies that I don't like are just fine, you know? Like, I just don't care for this movie. It's shot really well, I think. That's really it. I have no desire to rewatch this. I only want... It's been a long time. I sat down to edit this video. I started filming it like 5 months ago, and I realized that the last little segment didn't record. So I'm here to re-record that. As you can see by my unshaven face, time has passed. I've also gotten a lot of new movies in the past 5 months, so I figured I would just add those to the end of this as well. The last movie before the cutoff was Eternals. I don't know what point I was trying to make, because I haven't watched that in a few months, but it doesn't matter because the movie was Eternals. Alright, next up on my list is Spider-Man No Way Home. This actually came out a year ago, today or yesterday, when I'm filming this. I don't remember exactly. This is another one of the first movies where I was like, well, all the art sucks, but this one for the 4K release at Target is the most, good. It still has this really ugly Target, like, branding on it like they did in Far From Home, but, you know, whatever. I didn't know that the Walmart one had the good poster, you know, like the good poster, but it's fine. My opinions on this movie have changed, like, even since the 5 months I've filmed this thing. There's a lot of good in here, but there's also a lot of really weird and like, there's moments where you can tell that the filmmakers just did not care, and it was more like an assignment from Disney. But there's, like, good stuff in here. It's like I think Tom Holland's arc is really good. I still think he's a great actor in this. It's great seeing the Spider-Man giving resolution to Andrew's character. I really appreciate. Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, is one of the best actors ever, and it's so great. Just like all of the villains from the old movies are like grade A actors, you know, like specifically Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina. But Willem Dafoe especially, so good, and I just wish that he had been given more to do here. What he does do is great, but I just feel like they were too scared to show his face or something. Like, every time he was speaking, they would cut away from Willem Dafoe's face, which is ridiculous to me. But whatever. It's fine. I still really like this movie. I just am more mixed on it than I was before. Another addition to I bought this because the art looked better, even though I don't have a 4K player. Although I do now. That's an update in the past 5 months. I got a new TV, and my PlayStation can play 4K, so I can actually make use of this now. But when I bought this, I couldn't. But yeah, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Great to see Sam Raimi back behind the director's chair in a comic book movie. The parts that you can tell Raimi directed are really, really good. There's some, like, you know, standard Marvel stuff in here, but there's a lot to love in here. I really love Wanda as a villain. I don't really care for the Illuminati, and I'm fine that there weren't as many cameos. I do wish that it had fulfilled the promise of the name and given us a multiverse of madness. But, like, the plot is a lot more simpler than that name would suggest, which is fine. It's a little bit of false advertising, but love what Raimi did with this movie. I love Wanda as a villain, and I really like Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie as well. Alright, this is the first new addition to my collection. I bought this one. I don't like this movie. I really like Taika Waititi. I really love Chris Hemsworth. I really love, what's-her-face? I really love Natalie Portman. I really love Christian Bale, but just, this movie just kind of sucks. It looks like a Honda commercial. Like, besides the one scene that looks really cool, but like, it's just, it's not funny. I prefer Ragnarok in every way, and yeah, I feel like Taika really dropped the ball in here, which is, I don't know, if he wasn't passionate about it, that's fine. I just wish he tried a little bit more. All right, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This, you know, everything that has been said about this movie has already been said. To say some good things about it, I really like Qui-Gon's character. Darth Maul looks really cool. It's cool to see the Jedi in their prime and all that stuff. I'm really glad that this changes in the future movies, but Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan really does not do it for me in this movie. Maybe it's just because he doesn't look like the Obi-Wan that we know now, but he's just really not given anything to do. And, you know, little kid Anakin, Jar Jar, it's all a little messy. I don't think this is the worst Star Wars film, but it is probably the one that I revisit the least, if that makes sense. Next up, we got Attack of the Clones, which I actually do think is the... Actually, I changed my mind about that. This is the worst of the prequels. But I really love this movie. It's like the same way I feel about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I probably touched on earlier. I can't remember. That was 5 months ago. I think the premise here is great. Obi-Wan going on like a noir mission, spy, like secret. It's really super cool. And I love, he may not be a great detective in this one, but I do love where the adventure takes him. Anakin and Padme, yeah, it's cringe, but I don't know. I love it. In the same way that I love Andrew and Emma Stone's like Amazing Spider-Man 2 stuff. It's just it's really good. Yeah, this is probably my guilty pleasure. I also really like Dooku, and Clone Wars is probably the reason I really like Dooku, but I really like Dooku. And yeah, this is definitely my guilty pleasure in the Star Wars universe. This is a DVD of Star Wars The Clone Wars. Star the Clone Wars, if you will. This is a bad movie, but I will use this opportunity to speak highly of the show. I love the Clone Wars TV show. If you think it's lame or boring or for kids, shut up. Go give it another chance. Yeah, it's great. Especially like, oh my god, just, I'm not even going to say anything. Go watch the show. I'm happy that I own this though. I've had it since I was a kid. Wish I had it on Blu-ray, but you know, it's a DVD. Okay, Revenge of the Sith is honestly a pretty good movie, which is weird. Like, yeah, it is good, and I think watching the Clone Wars has to do a lot with that fact. It does change a lot of how you perceive like Anakin's character and the clones and all that kind of stuff. Order 66. But yeah, I think this movie is just really, it hits the emotions that it needs to hit. I still don't think it's better than any of the original movies, but I think Hayden Christensen gives a great performance in this, at least with his facial acting. Some of his lines are still a little iffy, but yeah. Ewan McGregor, incredible. This is peak Obi-Wan here. It's not, I don't think it's better than Alec Guinness's portrayal of Obi-Wan, but it's right up there. And the final lightsaber fight, love it. It might go into the area of a little silly towards the end, but it certainly ends with one of the most emotional moments in the entire saga. All right, here we got Solo. I definitely like this one more than most. I think it's a fun little movie that explains some things that did not need to be explained at all. I really love Alden Ehrenreich. I really love his portrayal of Han Solo. Just the first scene, he says a line that, like, when I saw it in theaters, I was like, damn, that's Harrison Ford. Obviously, it's not, though, which is crazy. It's almost like you can cast an actor to play these legacy roles instead of, I don't know, creating some sort of weird CGI monstrosity that has no life in its eyes or life in its voice and just feels wrong to look at. I wonder who would do such a thing. The other highlight of this movie is Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. Like, look at that guy. He's killing it. Maybe the best casting choice ever to like play a fault like of a recast, you know. Yeah, I really like this movie more than most. I think it's a swell time. Next up here, we got Rogue One, which is probably, I don't know, it's a lot of people's favorite Disney Star Wars movie. I don't agree with that. I do think it's a good time. I love the concepts behind all of the characters. I just feel like, I don't know, none of them were really developed enough. I am talking about this now after Andor has come out, which does make me appreciate Diego Luna's character a little bit more. But I still feel like a lot of them are undercooked. Besides maybe Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gerrera, but that's just because he's appeared in so much like other Star Wars media that I care for him more here. I also really love Krennic, not because he's a good villain, but because he's hilarious. He's just one of those pathetic little guys that you love to make fun of. A lot of great quotes from this guy. Yeah, I love Krennic. But what this movie is lacking in character, it definitely makes up for in scale. Every shot of the Death Star in this movie is drop dead gorgeous. The locations that they film on are mostly really good. I love Jeddah. The sequence where the Death Star shoots Jeddah is incredible. And the final fight on Scarif as well is amazing. There's just a lot of like just jaw-dropping imagery in this movie. Seeing on the big screen is great, and even just watching it at home is just as immaculate. And yeah, you know, Darth Vader's in it. Great scene at the end, whatever. But that's not the point. There's a lot of really good stuff in here that is not fan service, you know? Yeah. Not my favorite, but definitely some good stuff in here. All right, this is the original, the one that started it all, and this is my favorite Star Wars movie. I don't know, you know, it's... I don't know what else you can say about it. It's the movie that made me love movies. It's everything to me. I love all the characters. There's not a dull moment. It's funny. There's a lot of funny moments in this movie that doesn't get enough credit for. I think a lot of people look at Empire as the funny one, but this one is... I don't know. I think it's really hilarious, even when it's not trying to be. I don't know. Just everything about it. It inspires me to do what I do, and I don't know. That's all I can say about it. Empire Strikes Back, obviously, it ups the ante in every way from the first one, and I give it a lot of props for that. It's probably better directed than A New Hope, but I still like this one as my second favorite Star Wars movie. Not my favorite, but I don't know, I respect the hell out of this. I love Yoda. I love what they do with Dagobah. I recently watched the Light and Magic series on Disney Plus, and just seeing like how they made this movie and all the Star Wars movies is just amazing. Like, I don't know, so much more thought and care went into filmmaking back then, and that is documented in that series too, where it goes from how do we make this reality to how do we make the computer make this reality. I don't know, it's just, that's a little tangent. Go watch that show. But yeah, just the fact that this movie exists and the ways that they made this movie exist is just incredible. And of course, you know, the story is, it takes it to a whole nother level here. Twist at the end is probably the most iconic in all of cinema. Return of the Jedi. This was probably my favorite for a little while, just because I still think the final, like, the Death Star 2 stuff is probably, like, my favorite Star Wars stuff, with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor, the Senate, if you will. There's a lot that could be done better. It's a little weird to have, like, the first 45 minutes of this movie be a rescue mission that feels more in line with like an episode of a TV series instead of like the finale of the, at the time, like biggest phenomenon in movies. But obviously you gotta save Han Solo, but it is weird, although we do get some great puppetry and practical effects in Jabba's palace and the sail barge, so it's all good. Luke's lightsaber in this movie is definitely my favorite. I love the green lightsaber. I know it was made not for any plot reason, but it's still pretty great. And yeah, the conversations at the end of the movie between Luke, the Emperor, and Vader are definitely like the best that Star Wars has ever been, in my opinion. All right, next up we got The Force Awakens, twice. I own 2 copies of this movie because I got this one upon release, the cool looking one, and then I got this other one when they released all the other ones on Blu-ray again, because Target was having like a buy 2 get 1 free deal, and the way it all added up was I might as well have just gotten this one. So I did, and now I have 2, and this box art is too cool to get rid of, and this other one is just consistent. So I know I'm a little crazy. I really loved this movie when it came out. I think it does a lot really well, and I do think it is tonally distinct from the original, A New Hope, but obviously it does take a lot from that movie. I don't know, there's just so many concepts that made me so excited for the future of this trilogy that just didn't pan out. At the time, I really loved this, but looking back on it, I don't know, it's not my favorite anymore, and you'll find out why. The Last Jedi is a great movie, cowards. This is definitely my favorite of the sequel trilogy, and it blows my mind that like it gets so much hate, and it's obvious why. There's a lot of awful, terrible, sexist, racist people in the world that just like use this movie as an excuse to like, you know, be the worst. But I just don't understand. If you like Star Wars, how can you not look at this and see like how good it is? Again, in the same like vein as Rogue One, it's got some jaw-dropping imagery in here and just like great composition of shots, and it just looks the prettiest. Like, I don't know, it feels like they got like some special camera that only shoots like the most perfect images, and I don't know, I love Rian Johnson for that. There's nothing I really don't love about this. Like, okay, I'm not gonna say that. There's some stuff that I don't love about this movie, but there's nothing that I hate. The Canto Bight stuff obviously is just meh, but the stuff on the ship with Poe, I think that's really good. But obviously the stars of the show here are Rey, Luke, and Kylo Ren. I don't know what else you could have done interesting with Luke after Return of the Jedi, but I think they found it. And I don't know, like the Yoda scene, so good. The Holdo maneuver, so good. The throne room fight, so good. The duel on Crate, so good. Just if you don't like this movie, watch it again without, I don't know, expectations. Just watch it again with like love in your heart. Please, it's so good. It's so good. And the last Star Wars movie I have here is The Rise of Skywalker. I need to watch this movie again. I haven't watched it since theaters, I think. I watched it once on opening night, and I really loved it. I'm not going to lie, I really loved it. I was swept into the hype and all of that. I watched it a second time, and a lot of my love went away quickly, just because I really thought about what was happening here. I don't know if it's the intention or anything. They say it's not, but it does feel like a big middle finger to The Last Jedi. And honestly, you could say that The Last Jedi feels like a middle finger to The Force Awakens, but that's its own discussion. I don't know. It's got some pretty shots, character-wise. It's kind of all over the place story-wise. It's not really fulfilling. It doesn't feel like the end of a 9-episode saga. I don't know. I do want to watch it again, give it another chance, but there's a lot in here that I don't like and I wish had been done better. And I feel like all the characters deserve a lot better too, based on their foundations in The Force Awakens and where they were taken in The Last Jedi. I just wish, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it completes a trilogy, you know? Which is why people are asking for a Disney Plus show like that shows us where Rey and Finn and Poe like end up. It's not a conclusion. Which sucks. All right, moving on from franchise stuff. Here I got the American Frontier trilogy consisting of Sicario, Wind River, Hell or High Water. Those are the 3 movies. I haven't seen any of these. I just know that a lot of my friends say that they're really great. I do want to watch them all. It was just a really good deal at Target, and I know that all three of these are good movies, so I was like, hell yeah, I'll bite. The Jordan Peele collection I got here recently after Nope came out. I actually bought Nope by itself, and then like a week later saw that they released this, so I gave my copy of Nope to a friend and bought this instead. I love Get Out. Get Out's a great movie, and Nope is a great movie as well. I have not seen Us, but I do really want to see it soon here. Jordan Peele is one of the greatest new directors of our time, I think, and what he's doing for not only the genre, but also representation and just like movies in general is really great. Next up, we got Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. What a lovely little movie. It honestly, like, oh, it's just kind of crazy that this exists, you know. I never really watched the YouTube shorts as a kid, but I saw this in the theater in the summer and really fell in love with Marcel. And this is just a great little disc. It comes with a little manual about like some of the behind the scenes art stuff, which I really appreciate. This is just a really cute, feel good movie. You will cry though. You will cry a lot, but I don't know. If you're just like feeling a little Sunday afternoon movie, I think this is a great one to put on. Next up here, we got Pearl from the X franchise, which is, first of all, what the hell? Like, X came out in January, and we got this in the fall, and we're getting the third one like early next year. That is insane. But besides that, Pearl is really great. I watched both Pearl and X back to back. Well, X then Pearl back to back on around Thanksgiving. And I really enjoyed Pearl. I love Pearl a lot. Just going to bring both of these out here because I kind of just talk about them together. I think Pearl is a little better just because I'm more of a story person than a horror slasher person. I still really appreciate X. A lot of cool practical like looking stuff there. Yeah, I mean, if you're a really like big fan of just like old like 70s 80s slashers, X is definitely a great like callback to the era. And yeah, Pearl is also just really great. A great performance by Mia Goth. Like, I don't know where she's been all of our lives, but I'm glad that she's here now. And I am really excited to see what happens with Maxine, even though I'm more a fan of Pearl than X. Next up, there was a Criterion flash sale, and I got 2 new Criterions. This is Minding the Gap, a movie by Bing Liu. I haven't seen this movie. I just heard that it was really good. My buddy Luke, that I've talked about before in this video, he actually, I can't remember for sure. He either met him or had a class with the teacher who taught him at Columbia Art School in Chicago, which is pretty incredible. That's why I knew that this movie existed and why I wanted to watch it. I just know it's about friends and skateboarding, so I don't know. I'm sure it's great. And the other Criterion I got is the Grand Budapest Hotel. I have not seen this movie either. I actually haven't seen any Wes Anderson movie. Please don't kill me. But yeah, I've seen all the great things about this movie. Definitely wanted to check it out. And yeah, I don't have much to say about this, but this is at the top of my list to get into Wes Anderson as well as Fantastic Mr. Fox. I've also added some more steelbooks to my collection, including Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which, if you remember, I already own the Indiana Jones collection, so why did he buy this? I was working a shift at Target and saw that we had this, and I was like, oh my god, I really want that, but I really shouldn't spend money on a movie I already own right now. So I tweeted, hey, someone's Venmo me $25 and I'll buy a movie that I already own. Like, you know, a joke. And son of a bastard, not 10 minutes later, I check my phone and Luke has Venmo'd me $25 and he would not accept it back. He's a very kind soul. Who loves movies and is the reason that I own the best Indiana Jones movie on a 4K steelbook that came with a poster that's hanging in my room. So thank you, Luke. Next up, we got Top Gun Maverick, which is an incredible movie that came out this year, and I can't believe that I love it so much. I really don't care for the first Top Gun at all, but I saw this in theaters 3 times, which is like the first time I've done that for like a non Marvel or the Batman movie. I'm sorry, I know I'm like the worst. I'm the reason that cinema's dying, but hopefully I brought it back to life a little by seeing this so many times. The reason I got the Steelbook is because at Target, all of the Blu-rays had stickers on the slipcovers, and I didn't want to deal with that. And the 4K Blu-ray, the 4K Steelbook that I did not have access to 4K at the time, it had a sticker on it, but it was also had plastic wrap over it, so I could just rip off that, and the sticker wouldn't be on there, no sticker residue. So, like, you know, $10 to not have to peel a sticker off is a pretty good deal. But yeah, come on. It's Top Gun. I probably should have just bought it like this anyway, sticker or no sticker. Great movie, great commitment to the art of dudes flying planes and doing cool stuff in those planes. And Miles Teller getting jet fuel in his blood, and Tom Cruise telling him that he was born with jet fuel in his blood. Like, come on. I did not care for Tom Cruise before seeing this movie, but the man is the GOAT. He's a movie star. I love him. I'm going to watch everything he's ever done before. Next up, we got the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Collection Steelbook. There are 4 movies on here, including the Rise of Darkrai, which is the best movie of all time. The Giratina one, which is pretty good because it has a cool shot of Dialga at the beginning of it. The Arceus one, which is pretty interesting because of how it kind of inspired the Legends Arceus video game. I just remember there being like the wooden Pokeballs in that movie, and it's like set in the past, so like that's pretty cool. And then the Zoroark one, which I really don't remember much of except that Brock and Dawn were there, even though it was a Unova-based thing. I don't know, it was weird. Rise of Darkrai is definitely like my favorite Pokemon movie though, so I'm really excited to have it on this Steelbook that was also inspired by Luke because he owned this and I didn't know it existed till I saw that, so thanks, Luke. And the final thing in my collection is also a Steelbook. It is actually something that I owned at the time of filming the last one. It's my girlfriend's, but she just didn't have it on the shelf and I forgot that it existed, so the Twilight 5 movie collection Steelbook. I don't know, man. These movies are great. They're bad. They're bad, but they're fun. I don't really care for the first one that much, but like the middle 2 are incredibly hilarious. Especially like the middle one. Eclipse. Eclipse is like just peak crazy. I love it so much. But Breaking Dawn is probably my favorite, part 1, Breaking Dawn, just because they all sit in a house and start discussing like what we need to do with this little monster fetus. Like, these movies are peak comedy. If you haven't, like, stop being a hater. Just like, we all know that Robert Pattinson's like the best actor in the world now. We all know that Kristen Stewart's the best actress in the world now. We all know that Taylor Lautner married someone named Taylor, so now it's Taylor Lautner and Taylor Lautner, which is just hilarious in its own right. Just go watch these and turn off your brain. Have fun. Have fun. And that is my complete, updated Blu-ray / Criterion / 4K / Steelbook / 1 DVD collection. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed me talking about movies. I will link my Letterboxd below if you want to see me talk more in depth about some of these guys. I will also link Luke, Udi, and Kim's Letterboxd below, just because they were all foundational in my movie journey, I guess. So yeah, definitely check all of them out. While I'm promoting things, I have also finally finished Midnight City, the film, and the blooper reel, so please go check that out. That was all 2 years in the making and a lot of work, so please check that out. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe. I'll probably talk about more movies in the future. And it's my Christmas tree. You like my Christmas tree? I don't know if this will be out before Christmas, but if it is, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, what have you. Thank you for watching.